So if you have a repossession on your credit report, I want to give you a quick tip on how you can get that repossession removed from your credit report. The first thing, when it comes to credit reporting, anytime somebody puts something on your credit report, that information has to be reported 100% accurately, 100% verifiable, and it also has to be 100% timely. And if it doesn't meet those criteria, then by law, according to FCRA, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, according to that particular law, then that particular item cannot be on your credit report, which is good. So when it comes to a repossession, hey, life happens. I get it. I understand. Trust me. Been there before in times past. So when it comes to a repossession, first I want to break down the biggest myths that people have when it comes to repossession. There are two types of repossessions. You have a voluntary, meaning you voluntarily give the car back. Then you have an involuntary, meaning that you're hiding the car, moving the car around. You're about 3 months past doing the payments, and the people had to send a truck or record truck or whatnot to come repossess the car involuntarily, meaning you didn't want to give it up. They found you and took the car. That's involuntary. Again, voluntary is you give it to them. Involuntary is they come and take it from you. So here's the thing. A lot of times people think that because they're voluntarily giving up the car, that it doesn't affect them as bad as if it was an involuntary, again, meaning they just took the car. Unfortunately, either way, involuntary or involuntary, it's going to affect your credit the exact same way. That's that. So now, trying to get this thing removed. So what happens is, here's how it goes. When you get a loan and you buy the car, you default on the loan, what happens is, whether it's voluntarily or involuntarily, that particular lender, they're going to send someone to get the car, or you give up the car. Nevertheless, they got the car. They take the car, they send the car to the auction. What the auction does, they try to get the highest bid that they can for the car. Whatever bid they get on the car, whatever they don't get or recoup, then you're going to be responsible for whatever that balance is. Scenario, let's say if someone owes $20,000 on the car is repossessed, however it got to that point. So they owe $20,000. The bank took it to the auction. The bank only got $15,000. So now there's still a $5,000 balance that the bank is still not recouped for. So what's going to happen is the bank's going to either reach out to you, the client, and say, hey, look, you still owe us $5,000, et cetera, et cetera. So now that that's reported on your credit report, remember, for something to be put on your credit report, it has to be 100% accurate, 100% verifiable, and 100% timely. So what we're going to do is try to find some inaccuracies on the credit report on that particular repossession file that's going to give you some type of leverage to get it removed from your credit report. So this helps tremendously for those who might have gap insurance. If you don't know what gap insurance is, when you went to buy the car, purchase the car, the finance manager said, hey, he offered you gap, she offered you gap. GAP stands for Guaranteed Auto Protection, meaning that the car is total loss. The lender or that particular GAP company, they're going to pay off the difference from whatever the insurance company didn't pay on that accident. That's what GAP insurance is. Most people do get GAP insurance. GAP insurance is good if you're not putting out a large sum of money down, which a lot of times most people don't put a large sum of money down, so they're going to fall in that situation where they do need GAP. I highly recommend GAP. Again, unless you're putting out a large sum of money, you're going to need GAP insurance. So again, the car is repossessed. Involuntarily or voluntarily, we've come to that conclusion, it doesn't matter. But the car is repossessed. Now, when they put it on your credit report, they have to put down a certain amount that you owe. They say this client owes X amount of dollars. Great. So what's going to happen is if you have gap insurance, what you're going to do is call the gap insurance company and say, hey, the car is repossessed. I want to get a refund on my gap insurance, or what happened to the gap insurance. So what's going to happen is 9 times out of 10, the actual lender, they're going to contact the actual gap company and they're going to recoup that money. So what happens in your case, how this can benefit you is that first you owe the balance, whatever you owe them. Well, that balance is going to be different once the gap refund goes to the original lender or original creditor or the bank in this matter. So once the bank gets that amount, the amount that you originally owed them is going to be less. Once they get the gap refund could be anywhere from $500 to $1,000. Depending on how much you pay for the gap insurance, you get a prorated amount of money back. Again, so they're reporting that you owe $5,000. Now, because of the gap refund, whether it's $1,000 or $500, now it's going to be $5,000 minus whatever amount that they got from the gap insurance company, which makes it inaccurate. What you're going to want to do is contact the gap insurance company, ask them to send you documents showing what they gave the bank or the original lender. And once they show you that, now you can provide this information to the actual credit bureaus, because the bank says you owe this amount, but based on what you originally owed them and what the actual gap insurance company gave them, that amount is less. So now you provide those documents to the credit bureaus. That's going to be inaccurate reporting, because the bank said you owe $5,000, but on the credit report it's reflecting $5,000, but it's not showing what the amount that they received from the gap insurance company. This gives you leverage to get this item removed from your credit report. And you send those letters off to the credit bureaus. And again, by law, if something's not reported 100% accurate in this particular case, then it has to be removed from your credit bureau. So this is one of the ways that you can use the credit bureaus, use the gap insurance, use the amount or the balance that's owed to get this particular item removed from your credit report. Hope this helps you. So now that you have the information, if you have a repossession on your credit report, go out, challenge, dispute, reach out to the gap company, get this information removed from your credit report so that you can go back and live the quality of life that you deserve. Be wiser next time, but wish you well. Hey, if you know someone who might have a repossession on their credit report and they don't want to wait 7 years for it to automatically fall off and suffer that whole time period, please like this video, share this message with them, let them know that yes, there is help and they can move forward.